gonna be a law against doing what I'm about to do. I am gonna use this forklift to pick up a $75,000 INEOS Grenadier. Ladies and gentlemen, I have got a surprise for you. This is a 2024 INEOS Grenadier. You probably never heard of it. It is basically a tractor with doors. This was built to mimic or be a lot like the old Land Rover Defenders that people loved because they were heavy-duty, rugged machines for farming and for exploration, for military, not like the luxury SUVs that we've got nowadays. I'm excited to share it with you guys. I'm gonna do a quick walk around, get this thing checked in. Oh my gosh, it is just perfect. Got the nice two-tone leather interior, got the twin sunroofs. All right, so the million-dollar question is, will it run and drive? I bought it as a recovered theft unit out of California, and it has no key. It even smells like a new car. Whew. BMW gear shifter. Oh boy. It looks like it's a good buy. I don't see any body damage on it, no surprises. We do have to get a key though. So really nothing I can do with it until our locksmith shows up to program the new keys for us. So I'm gonna pick it up, put it out back. All right, so Mo is here to answer all my prayers.
It's Europe car.
Or not.
So I cannot do it. You have to take it to the dealership.
Why was I afraid you were gonna say that?
It's Europe car, it's not US car.
Even if I slide you some extra money on the side, we're not gonna get it done?
Cannot.
Well, there's one thing for sure. If Mo can't do it, it's not physically possible. So the next thing is we'll have to load it up, get it up to Mag Auto Group up in Dublin, Ohio. They'll be able to figure it out. All right, so George is back from Mag Auto Group. They were able to do it. They got some new keys programmed to the car and got it fired up, got it running. I haven't got to see it yet. George says it runs. He claims he drove it up onto the rollback, so this is an exciting moment. We'll get that thing off of there. I want to drive it. He thinks I don't know how to work this thing. It's just a bunch of levers. You think I don't know how to work this? I know how to work this thing.
No, you don't. Hey, it runs great.
Oh, look at that. It is a shiny, nice looking key. And we've now got the codes. So next time we won't have to buy a new computer and theft module because we've got the codes. That's good. Oh, man. You probably didn't even have to lower the bed. I could have just driven it off.
You're not tearing up my truck.
Wow, this is one nice ride. It sounds great. I'm super encouraged. And guess what I just discovered? This thing's only got 2,000 miles on it. I can't believe it. Let's get it in the shop and get this thing checked in. I'm encouraged so far. So it had a yellow light on the dash, which hopefully was just from me not having my seatbelt on. There was a message about it being low on washer fluid, which hopefully it's just low on washer fluid. But otherwise, I don't have any lights on the dash. Wow, I've never seen anything like this. First of all, it kind of looks like I'm in the cockpit of my airplane, but I'm in a car. This thing is built military grade. It's built to be heavy duty. So you've got manual seats. Why? Because power seats could break. They get wet, they get damaged, they don't work. This instrument cluster is wild. I've never seen anything like it. It's just a little box. We do have the yellow triangle there. Let's see if putting my seatbelt on gets rid of that. No, it did not. Unless it's because Dave doesn't have his seatbelt on. Nope. So we do have a yellow triangle to deal with because that didn't go out with the seatbelt. Nice display there that has got some gauges for us, fuel, temperature. And look at this one right here. Only 3,000 miles on it. Gotta love that. And then down here, a bunch of switches. Looks like a panel out of an airplane. We need to go through all of these and make sure they work. Window dimmest. Cheezel Pete's. That's demist. Wow. Okay, hey, don't yell at me. I do like the fact that the four-wheel drive is a manual lever. A lot of cars nowadays have switches on them that break or don't work or don't fully engage. This is back to the simple that always works. You know, you pull the lever, you got it or you don't. All right, so nice setup in here. We do need to go, oh, geez. Wow. There's a bunch more switches up here on the overhead console. I don't even know what they are. Front and rear differential locks. That is very nice. Nice set of buttons there. I like that. All right, and then who knows what all of these things are. But I tell you what, you can feel pretty cool flipping the switches. All right, let's do a walk around.
Not at all.
Ha, look what I got right here. Okay, well, let's see if that fixes the washer problem. Got the classic hood with the big fenders on it, just like the old Land Rovers. Either it's gonna turn the light off or it's gonna all pour out on the floor. Do I put the whole jug in and then check the floor? Yeah, I got faith. All right, the moment of truth. It's dry. Grenadier, powered by BMW. We'll get into that later. All right, we still got the triangle. The washer message is gone, but we still have the warning. So that's something we're gonna need to look into when we get it on the lift. It sounds good, it looks good initially. We did just get the thing running. It hasn't been run in a while. We know we've got an error because of the light. We need to get it on the lift, start running it through the checklist, and make sure that all the systems are working right and that we don't have any surprises. All right, Richard got the car in the shop, racked it up, got it up in the air for us so we can start checking this thing out a little bit. As you know, it's only got 3,000 miles on it, so I don't expect seeing anything. The tires look like they're in good shape. The rear pads and rotors look good. Oh, look at this. Twin piston calipers, nice feature. Those pads are 95%. And the rotors look good. Don't see any oil leaks underneath here. Richard, of course, will go through and check everything, but I'm looking at some really serious heavy-duty hardware right here. These Carrero axles, solid beam axle on the front. You don't usually see that except on super heavy-duty trucks. We're talking 2-ton and bigger. It's also got coil springs on the front, a feature that you don't see on normal SUVs. That's heavy-duty stuff. And we, of course, got the 3.0 liter inline 6-cylinder turbocharged B58 BMW engine in here. That comes back to another Carrero solid beam axle. Big heavy-duty setup on this thing, and it's got the body on frame construction, which one thing I noticed here is this is a fully boxed frame, which is great. It makes it much stronger. It also makes it last longer because you don't get as much corrosion issues with it like you see in a lot of the cheaper trucks. But we do actually have one problem. We can't find the key lock for the lug nuts. We tore the back apart looking for it. The kit's missing entirely. It's just not there. And to make it worse, INEOS has used a locking lug nut that has bearings inside of it, so the thing actually turns. So you can't just jam a socket on there and beat the thing off. So Richard's got the welder here. He's gonna have to weld that bearing to the inside core so that he can then jam something in and get them off. So we got a little work here getting all those lug nuts off. Richard! Get to work! Wow, what a pain in the ass that was. But Richard got it done. Of course, he might look like he's just taking it easy, but he wasn't. He was actually working. He had to weld all these lug nuts shut so that he could jam a socket on, but he got them all off. And fortunately, we didn't have to call Herbs, who does our nut and stud extraction, because he's not cheap. So the lug nuts are done. Now it's time to take this thing for a spin. Dave, why don't you come with me? Because there's something pretty cool I want to show you guys. All right, one of the downfalls of this solid axle is the turning radius on this thing is terrible. So we're gonna have to go back and forth multiple times just to get this thing out of the garage. Of course, having said that, no idea motor was in there.
No idea about it.
Shut up and get the hell out of my way. I told you this thing doesn't turn for shit. People leave shit all around the shop and then they wonder why we run into it. All right, let's go. So let me tell you the story about how this car even exists in the first place. Basically, it's all about one man, Jim Ratcliffe. He got ticked off when Land Rover killed the old Defender back in 2016. So he went to him, tried to buy the rights, got denied, and he basically said, "F it, then I'll build my own." But what makes his story interesting is he didn't have it. He went OEM all the way, partnered up with BMW and bolted everything onto a frame-on body chassis. But what makes it interesting isn't the retro styling of the old Land Rovers, it's that you get a modern truck built the old school way, a modernized version of what the off-roaders wanted all along. So like I mentioned before, it has a BMW drivetrain in it with the inline turbocharged B58 engine. So there's several reasons Jim Ratcliffe went with the BMW drivetrain. First one, and most obvious, is it's a startup company. He didn't have the time or money to be developing his own powertrain. This way he was able to buy something that was turnkey, put it in there, and it already had worldwide emission standards complete. But the engine wasn't perfect just like it was. They did have to make some tweaks to it. The most profound one being the horsepower. Typically when this engine is in a BMW, it's producing 335 to as much as 380 horsepower. But that's not what they needed for the Grenadier. So through doing some modifications with the turbo and with the timing through the ECU, they were able to bring down the horsepower rating and take up the torque, the low end torque. So now at the 1500 to 3000 RPMs, this engine is producing a lot of grunt, a lot of the torque that they need for that low speed rock crawling or hauling, especially in harsh environments. They also designed this engine to run on a lower octane fuel. It doesn't need the 93 octane that BMW puts in theirs for winning races, because this is built more like a tractor. What's going on? Isn't that a lady's car?
Why don't y'all get the f out of the road?
Have a good weekend.
Yeah.
You too. Because the Grenadier's built like a tractor with more low-end torque, less stress, more durable, not designed to be out winning races. And to answer the thumbnail question, no, it is obviously not a G-Wagon, but it is manufactured by Magna Steyr, who also manufactures the G-Wagon for Mercedes. I tell you what, this is a nice truck. It's checking all the boxes for me. I really like it. I'm glad we got to do this rebuild. One thing's for sure, Jim wasn't trying to reinvent the SUV here, but he's got something that I think is going to be around for a long time. Now let's get back to the shop, take a look at the numbers. Man, Jim really is proud of his trucks. I ended up paying $35,174 for it, and then spent another $1,400 getting it shipped over here from the left coast. But that wasn't even my biggest expense. We had to ship it up and back to Columbus and get a set of keys made for it. That cost us $1,973. Yeah, that's right, basically $1,000 a key. The rest of it wasn't bad. Our labor, we had a couple $100 into getting those lug nuts off, and then I spent $300 on that spare tire toolkit that was missing. We spared the money on the detail. The truck's in great shape, it's clean. I'm just sending it over to the sales lot, letting the lot techs wash it up. So it brings my total into the truck at $39,047. But it retails for over $70,000. To be exact, $71,992. The days on market, though, is a little tricky. There just aren't many of these things out there. I did a nationwide search. I really couldn't pinpoint the days on market, but there are some out there as cheap as $61,000. Now it's a brand new car. It's not gonna have the factory warranty because of the salvage rebuild title. So typically we have to price those at a pretty substantial discount, around 75%. This one, I'm probably gonna be more like 71 or 72% because of the cheap used ones out there, which means ultimately we're gonna end up selling it for around $50,000, which gives us an $11,000 contribution margin and gives somebody a really nice truck that they're basically getting for half price of what that thing cost 3,000 miles ago. And don't forget, everybody, we do have that Polaris slingshot giveaway. Be sure to go to NKY Garage and get signed up for it. That brings us to the end. If you like this kind of content, be sure to like and subscribe. I'm Matt Ryan, and this is another episode of NKY Auto. I said something about my balls itch. I need some help.
Oh, I thought it was something about driving school.
It looked like you couldn't drive a grease plug up a bullseye.
Short stick up a fat hole.
What the hell is going
I took my foot out with that. 10 and 2.
If you want a derby car, we'll build one.
This is what jealousy looks like right here.
Here's what I can do for you next time.
Yeah, yeah.